Raindrop, drop top.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, guys. So I know I haven't uploaded anything for the 10 of you that watch in a few months. The last video I made it just because I kind of felt like doing something and I kind of needed to get something up just to be a little creative. But I've had some shitty projects and they've really taken away from the love for this. So I'm trying to get back into it. I mean, it's not like I wasn't doing anything for the past few months. I have a lot of footage. So those 10 of you, you guys are lucky because guess what? I'm going to try and pump out quite a few videos. Anyways, let's just get right into it. Why not, right?
Alright, so a few episodes back on the Chop Shop, Brandon did a secret reveal of this little turbo, this little thing. Well, guess what? It's not gonna work. So, as we like to say in the speed industry, bigger is better. So, this is a T3 T4 hybrid. It has got a T4 turbine on it with a T4 turbine with a T3 compressor. So the turbine will spool faster, making this produce boost sooner so there's not as much lag. Also, it's going to move a lot more air than this tiny little T28. So today we are going to get the T28 fully assembled. As you can see, it's not all put together. The exhaust flange is just kind of hanging there for show. We got to get the inlet put on it, and we got to get the hot side out, well, air out inlet. We got to get it all put together. All the bolts they're the right thread pitches, but they're too long. So we got to do some bolt chopping with an angle cutter or a cutting wheel. I got one of those. And then we are going to do some chopping on the Prelude. So my plan for today, we're not going to get a whole lot done, but what we're going to do is we're going to take the bumper off, possibly take the hood off so we're not banging our heads into it. We're going to take the bumper off, probably most likely take the exhaust manifold off, and start trying to get an idea of where the turbo is going to sit. With the manifold that I just recently purchased, I purchased the Treadstone Performance manifold for an H22 Prelude with some minor bolt hole elongating. We just drill them out a little bit and some port matching. It will work perfectly. I can post a link in the description, or actually Brandon will post a link in the description to a thread that I found on this wonderful website called preludepower.com, where I found that this manifold will work, and that manifold is en route right now and shipping. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bumper off. We're going to do some hacking. Probably going to cut out the center section right here of the bumper support and mount the intercooler better, because I had it mounted before where it was bolted underneath. It vibrated and wobbled. I don't want that. I'm gonna have to do some cutting over down here, some cutting in here a little bit more because I've already done some modifications, but I'm gonna have to do some more to get the intercooler piping to route properly. We're then going to try to see about getting it piped, get a general idea of how the piping is going to run through here and into the throttle body. Nothing's going to be set in stone today, but that's the plan for today. Mainly because I'm bored and I want to work on my car before my son is born, which is happening Tuesday. And once again, just like in the last video, I was working on the Prelude. If you want to donate to help make this build go a little faster, I'll give Brandon my PayPal link, and you can put it in the description. Alright, so let's get chopping. This would be the part of the video where we say safety first, put on your safety glasses. Well, mine are all broken, so sunglasses it is. Because I don't have a vise yet, a tabletop vise, what I'm going to do is probably one of the more dangerous things that you should not do when cutting stuff. So I'm going to take a pair of vise grips, hopefully I can get them big enough, and maybe clamp this to the table like that, and I'm going to cut a few threads off so that this fits in the turbo better. This is the bolt that's going to be holding on the exhaust flange to the turbine housing of the turbo. But these bolts are just a smidge too long, so I'm going to shorten them up. Look at that. now I'll be able to tighten it down and get a proper seal.
Now I'm removing the front bumper so that we can get started on installing the front mount intercooler. Now the other side's just being held on with some chicken wire, so if I just cut that,
Here you go, girl.
now all I gotta do is remove the screws up front. Now I can disconnect any electrical components.
Yeah, I like this. We're all fucking broken. I was like, why is this included? Because they're all rotted, 28 years old.
Now we are removing the hood so we got some extra room to work with. So now that we've got his porn collection out the way, let's grab the car parts.
This is a small little intercooler, but it'll do the job. It's dirty, I need to clean it. See, I originally, you can see these two bolts that I put back in it so I wouldn't lose them. Had it mounted like, you can see these little brackets right here that I fabbed up. I had it sitting right in here, something like that. But it vibrated like this. So,
Best
thinking
thing
about cutting.
into there and trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to mount it into there.
Yeah. But I don't want to just go hacking away like, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and screw up my whole front bumper support. Alright, so if you want to mount your pods, but you don't want them blatantly obvious like right here on the A-pillar up on your dash, well, since I have no stereo, put my pods right, my little gauges right there. What you can do to mount them in place, actually I've already got this little din back bolted in, but you can see I just cut a hose clamp in half and put the hose clamp through the side brackets of the pod.
Didn't you?
You can put the hose clamp through the bracket of the pod and bolt and screw it into the din. Since I don't care too much about this plastic, it's just here to hold the pod in place. Now once I get the boost gauge, it's going to go right there and I'm going to use the same method. Cut a hose clamp, and you don't even have to cut it. You can just undo the hose clamp and make it go around the pod. I was trying to do it this way to see if it would work, and I'll probably do the boost gauge, the one-piece method, instead of cutting it in half. Good. There it goes. This way we can see. clean it up. See, now we can see through. Taking the radiator out because last time I got anywhere near the radiator with the Sawzall, I ended up having to buy a new radiator. So, lesson learned, take the radiator out. Look at all that room for a turbo. Yeah.
And that's why the radiator came out.
Fucking grab a piece and bite. Motherfucker! You're supposed to wear closed-toed shoes. Boom, baby. Ow, hot metal shavings. I gotta find those.
This one's almost spot on over here. Wait, maybe not. That's not. It's front wheel drive.